Hi folks, I'm Michael with Code Academy, and in this video, I'll be walking you through the Chore project. To complete this project, you'll need to be familiar with JavaScript in the DOM, conditionals, and functions. For this project, we will be building a chore door guessing game, where the player will try to open all 3 doors before hitting the chore bot. The chore bot is always hiding behind a random door, so we'll need a bit of luck in opening all the doors before we see the chore bot. If we can open all the doors, we win. But if we discover the chore bot before all the doors have been opened, we lose. We will be leveraging our knowledge of JavaScript to build out the functions necessary to randomize the location of the chore bot, change the image of the doors with on-click listeners, determine which user actions are winning conditions and which are losing conditions, and reset game variables to their original state with the start of each new round. Let's take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the existing code. We have 3 files: index.html, which provides the structure of this project, style.css, which provides the design to the HTML, and script.js, which provides the JavaScript that will interact with our HTML. What we'll be focused on today is script.js, where we'll be building out the game mechanics. So let's start coding. In this first series of tasks, we'll be creating variables that will allow us to access HTML elements that we can manipulate for our game. The first of which will be called doorImage1. For this first variable, we'll set it to the HTML element with an ID of door1. So for that to happen, we'll need to type out document.getElement by ID, and then making sure to put in quotation marks door1. As you notice on the web browser, there are 3 doors for this game. So we'll want to create 2 more variables set to doorImage2 and doorImage3, and set them with HTML elements with the IDs of door2 and door3 respectively. So to do that quickly, we can just copy and paste the first variable that we created, making sure to make the necessary changes so that we have doorImage1 with an ID of door1, doorImage2 with an ID of door2, and doorImage3 with an ID of door3. Okay. And our final task for this series involves accessing this orange div right here, which is the text "good luck." We can do this the same way as we did with the doors. Create a variable that we can call start button, and setting it to the HTML element with the ID of start. So just like before, document.getElement by ID, and then putting in between quotation marks start. Now that we have access to these 4 vital HTML elements, we can shift our focus towards building out the game logic. We want to build a function called isClicked to check if the door that the player clicks on is closed. This is to ensure that open doors will not affect the progress of the game. It has 1 parameter, the door that the player has selected. So we'll simply type in door. And then if we follow the proper syntax, this task is taken care of, completing the empty function. Now inside this empty function, we want to create a conditional that checks whether the src property of door is equal to the value closed door path. If so, we'll return true, and if not, we'll return false. So that will look like this: if door.src is equal to closed door path, return true, else return false. And that takes care of step 6. With that first function taken care of, let's move on to our next function, which we'll call isBot. Now isBot will check if the player clicked on the door where the chore bot is hiding. Similar to our isClicked function, isBot will also take door as its one parameter. And like isClicked, isBot will contain a conditional statement, this time to check if the src value of the door is equal to the value bot door path. If so, return true, and if not, we'll return false. So that will look like this. If door.src is equal to bot door path, and we will return true, else we'll return false. And that takes care of this function. Let's scroll down so we can see our next tasks. So our third function will be called game over. And this function will display a message depending on whether the player opened all 3 doors successfully or was caught by the Chore bot. This function will take one parameter called status. There we have our empty function. Now we want to fill this function with a conditional statement that checks if status is equal to win. If so, we want to set the inner HTML of the start button to read, you win, play again. And if not, we want the inner HTML to read, game over, play again. So that will look like this. If status is equal to the string win, then we want to set the start button inner HTML to read, you win, play again. Else, we'll want the start button instead to read, game over, play again. Next takes care of task 9. Now there's one last thing to do for this function. And the last thing we want to do is enable our start button to be triggered again for another round of chore door. To do that, we want to set the variable currently playing to false. And the way we do that is by going down here in the function and saying currently playing equals false. That takes care of step 10. So if we scroll down, we'll see that the next function we want to build involves keeping track of the remaining doors to be played. This function will be called playDoor. And like many of the functions we built so far, this will take a single parameter, door. So the first thing we would like this function to do is decrease this variable num closed doors by 1 every single time it's run, because this function will fire every time we click on a door to open. So we do that by typing num closed doors minus minus or num closed doors minus equals 1. The next thing we want this function to do is check if our num closed door variable equals 0. If so, it means that we've successfully avoided the chore bot and we won the game. So the way this will look is by typing a conditional statement where if num closed doors is equal to 0, we will run our game over function where we pass in the string win as our argument. So how do we run the logic that handles if the door we open contains the chore bot? Well, we'll add an else if statement that will run the isBot function where we pass in the door as the parameter. If the door that was open has the chore bot, then we'll run the game over function, except this time we will pass nothing as an argument. which means that this round has ended in a loss. All right, now that we have the winning and losing mechanics in place, let's work towards building the function that will randomize the door where the chorebot is hiding with the start of each round. Let's create a function called random chore door generator. Inside this function, we're going to create a variable called chore door, and we're going to assign it to be a random integer between 0 and num closed doors. So to do that, we're going to use JavaScript's built-in math.random function, and we're going to times that by num closed doors. Now this will give us a float or decimal, so we're going to wrap this around another JavaScript built-in math function called math.floor, which will round down to the nearest integer. So now that we can generate a number between 0 and 2, let's write the logic that assigns where the chorebot will hide based on each outcome. We'll need an if conditional statement to handle 0. So in this case, if chore door is equal to 0, the following assignments will take place. Open door 1 will be the bot door path, meaning this is where the chorebot will be hiding. Open door 2 will be the beach door path. And open door 3 will be the space door path. That takes care of step 15. Now, what do we do if chore door is equal to 1? Well, we will have an else if statement where if chore door is equal to 1, the following assignments will take place. Open door 1 will now be the beach door path. Open door 2 will be where the chorebot is hiding. And open door 3 will still be the space door path. Okay. Now, what do we do if chore door is equal to 2? Well, if that's the case, we will simply add another else if statement where else if chore door is equal to 2, the following assignments will take place. Open door 1 will become the beach door path. Open door 2 will now be the space door path. And open door 3 will be the bot door path where the chorebot is hiding. And that takes care of step 17. All right, we're almost ready to play our game. Just one problem. We don't have a function to get the game set up correctly for each round yet. So what we'll want to do is create a function at the bottom of script.js called start round. Now within this function, we'll want to set the src properties of doorImage1, doorImage2, and doorImage3 to all be closed door path. This will make sure that all the doors are closed at the start of each new round. So the way that will look is doorImage1.src is equal to closed door path. And I'm going to copy and paste. You can type it out if you'd like. I'm going to change these to doorImage2 and doorImage3. Now, we still have some other variables to reset at each round within this function. So let's go ahead and set num closed doors to be 3. Let's set currently playing to be true. And let's set the inner HTML of the start button to be good luck, like you see on the right. Okay. The last thing we want to do in this function is call the random chore door generator function. So that will always get the chore door to be different, either behind door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. Now, the final step is rather easy. It's simply calling start round at the very bottom. All right, so let's save and see how we do. All right, we got the beach door path, we got the space door path, and we got the chore door at the final. So we win, and let's play again. Let's see what happens if we lose. Game over, play again. Awesome, the game is functioning as intended. Let's try to end this on a winning streak. Fantastic, great work. So to recap, we use JavaScript and the DOM, conditions, and functions to construct a chore door guessing game that provides randomized fun in the form of trying to avoid the dreaded chorebot. Thank you for watching this chore door project walkthrough. I'm Michael from Code Academy. Happy coding.